Every year in the month of June, the Catholic Church celebrates the solemnity of the Sacred Heart of Jesus. In many Catholic countries, this solemnity falls on a Friday. This year, it is on Friday, the 12th of June. However, in many countries of the world, including several dioceses of India, this solemnity is observed on the following Sunday, that is on the 14th of June. What is the Feast of the Sacred Heart of Jesus all about? It's about way back in the late 17th century, between 1653 and 1674, in this little village of France, Paray-le-Monial, Jesus, with the Sacred Heart, appeared to a visitation nun, Sister Margaret Mary Alacoque. Her confessor at that time was a Jesuit priest, St. Claude La Colombière. And over the years, these apparitions of the Sacred Heart to this visitation nun grew in importance. Finally, in 1856, Pope Pius IX made it a universal feast of the Catholic Church. What does this feast signify in reality today? One needs to visit actually three important documents of the Church. The Dilexit Nos, it is the last encyclical of Pope Francis, which he wrote on October 24th, 2024. It was his last encyclical, Dilexit Nos. He loved us. It was an encyclical letter on the human and divine love of the heart of Jesus. His successor, Pope Francis, on the 4th of October 2025, gave us his first apostolic exhortation, Dilexit, I have loved you. It was an apostolic exhortation on the love of the poor, and right in his introduction he says, I continue what Pope Francis began writing from his previous encyclical, that we cannot love Christ if we do not love the poor. In a way, a few days ago on the 15th of May, Pope Leo XIV gave us his first encyclical, this powerful encyclical, Magnifica Humanitas, magnificent humanity, when he says how important it was to be human, to be alive in today's world. In totality, this feast looks into 5 interrelated dimensions. First of all, fire. That heart of Jesus is always a flame, burning with love for us. And at the same time, he wants us, his disciples, to burn with love for others, to radiate this love. As St. Ignatius of Loyola told his first followers who went out to the world, go set the world on fire. We are called to be the Lord's fire, the Lord's life, the Lord's light in the world of today. The second dimension of this feast is forgiveness. The heart of Jesus is wounded because of our sins, but he forgives us lovingly, unconditionally. He wants us to make reparations for our sins. Is forgiveness part of our DNA, our psyche as Christians? Are we ready to forgive others unconditionally and lovingly, just as the Sacred Heart of Jesus forgives us? Forgiveness is the hallmark of this feast, and the Lord wants us to forgive others all their sins. Jesus always forgives the sinner, though he does not forget or condone the sin. It is the sinful structures that we need to address, as Pope Leo reminds us very powerfully in his first apostolic exhortation, Dilexit. The third dimension of the feast is about fearlessness. The fearlessness to love, the fearlessness to take a stand, and beginning with Pope Francis's encyclical about the loving heart of Jesus, through the apostolic exhortation of Pope Leo, and now with the encyclical of Pope Leo, we have dimension. Do not fear. Have courage. I am with you. And this is what the Sacred Heart of Jesus is telling us. We have to transcend our pettiness, our egoism, our self-centeredness, to reach out to others without any fear or favor. We have the next dimension, and that is freedom. Only when we truly love others, only when we tell people, indeed, as St. Ignatius of Loyola reminds us, that we love them, because he tells us in the last contemplation of the spiritual exercises to obtain the gift of love, that we must be able to manifest our love for the others indeed. And that is what Pope Francis has been speaking about in his encyclical, what Pope Leo speaks about in his exhortation. And finally, the emphasis that Pope Leo gives in his latest encyclical. Do we have the freedom to love others without counting the cost? To love others without expecting anything in return. The final dimension of this feast is fraternal. And how do we create that synodal journey, that communion, that participation, and that mission which the Church has been speaking so beautifully in these recent years? How do we live the spirit and letter of Vatican II? How do we ensure that our world is fully human, fully alive, as Pope Leo wants us? How do we reach out to others, very especially to the poor and the marginalized, the excluded and the exploited of today's world? How do we transcend the narrow confines of all that is artificial, including artificial intelligence, all that is superficial, and make that divine love which Jesus has given us truly human, and in fact imitating him, truly divine, because every human being is created in the image, in the likeness, in the dignity of God. Finally, as we celebrate together this great solemnity of the Sacred Heart, let us say in those words of this beautiful song, "Sweet Heart of Jesus, fount of love and mercy, sweet Heart of Jesus, to you I come, to you I worship, to you I adore, today and forever." May the Sacred Heart of Jesus, who is meek and humble of heart, guide us and show us the way in today's broken, brutalized, and battered world. Happy Feast of the Sacred Heart of Jesus.